The family ATM family. It's supposed to mean love, care, and belonging, but for me it meant obligation, guilt, and never-ending requests for money. I'm James, 32 years old. And for as long as I can remember, I've been the one who saves the day. My family learned early that I couldn't say no. It started with something small, my sister's college tuition. Then my parents' mortgage when Dad lost his job. Later, my brother's wedding, my sister's divorce lawyer, the family vacation that somehow landed on my credit card. Each time they said, "This is the last time." Each time I believed them while they built comfortable lives. I worked 80-hour weeks in my consulting job, living in a tiny studio apartment. They dined out, I ate reheated noodles. I drove a beat-up Honda while my brother bragged about his BMW. The one I co-signed, I told myself it was temporary, that good things come back around. Then I met Sarah. She was different, smart, independent, and the first woman who didn't see me as a wallet. She had her own marketing agency, her own life for the first time in years. I felt like someone wanted me, not what I could give after 8 months together. I began saving for a ring, $22,000 in a separate account. Every month I'd add to it, thinking about our future. But fate has a way of testing weak spots. One night, Mom calls. Dad's heart surgery had left them buried in medical bills. They were staring at $20,000 of debt. She said they might lose the house, the same one I'd already helped save twice. I stared at my engagement fund, $22,000 enough to save them again. I told myself Sarah will understand. I transferred the money every cent. When I told Sarah, she was silent. Then she whispered the question that shattered me. When does it end? I didn't have an answer. 2 weeks later, she ended things. She said she couldn't compete with my family, that I'd never choose a life of my own, and as much as it hurt, she was right. The breaking point after Sarah left, something inside me cracked, not from anger, but from exhaustion. I was done. When my sister asked for help with her kids' private school fees, I said no. When my brother wanted seed money for a new business idea, I said not this time. When Mom suggested a cruise to celebrate Dad's recovery on my dime, I told her I can't afford it right now. It was the first time in my life I'd said those words. Their reaction was brutal. I was called selfish, arrogant, ungrateful. They said success had changed me, but I stood my ground for the first time. I started saving for myself. I rebuilt my finances, upgraded my apartment, and began feeling free. The peace didn't last long. New Year's Eve came around, and Mom wanted everyone together like old times. She said it was a chance for a fresh start. I agreed, maybe foolishly, hoping things had changed. The house looked beautiful that night. The one I'd helped save candles on the table. Expensive wine, everyone dressed up. For a moment I thought maybe, just maybe, we could be a family again. Then my sister stood up. She raised her glass, her smile too wide, everyone. She said we took a vote. You're officially cut off. Laughter exploded around the table. Real laughter. My father clutched his stomach, wheezing. My brother slapped the table. My mother giggled behind her hand to them. The idea that I could cut them off was hilarious, but I didn't laugh when the noise died. I calmly reached into my jacket and pulled out a plain white envelope. Well, I said, setting it on the table, then you won't be needing this. The room fell silent. My sister frowned and opened it. The color drained from her face as she read. Inside was an itemized record. Every dollar I'd ever given over the past 8 years. Every loan, every gift. Every emergency, $240,000. And the next page, a repayment plan with interest, $300,000. Their laughter died instantly. My brother looked stunned. My mother's face went white. Dad's jaw clenched in disbelief. I told them my lawyer had confirmed that every transfer, every message was legally binding. You said I'm cut off, I said quietly. So now it's just business. Mom started to cry. Dad tried. Guilt after all we've done for you. I reminded him that raising a child isn't alone. Sister called me heartless. Brother called me vindictive. But I was calm. I'd spent my life paying for their comfort. Now I was paying for my peace. Before leaving, my sister yelled, "What do you even want from us?" I stopped at the door and said, "I want what you just gave me, to be cut off, no more guilt. No more control, no more pretending money equals love." Then I walked out into the cold night, free for the first time in my life. The cost of freedom the next few weeks were chaos. Angry texts, guilt messages, relatives calling to talk sense into me. I blocked them all, then came silence. It was strange, heavy, but peaceful. For the first time, I could hear my own thoughts. A month later, my lawyer called. Dad had reached out asking to meet. He came alone, looking older than I'd ever seen him. He admitted they'd taken advantage of me, that they treated my kindness like an endless supply. We talked like father and son, not borrower and lender. We worked out a modest payment plan. I wasn't trying to bankrupt them. I just wanted acknowledgement. He asked if we start making payments. Would you come home for Easter dinner? I told him I'd think about it. Trust takes time to rebuild. Easter came and I didn't go. Instead, I hiked alone, breathing clean air. The first holiday in years that didn't cost me my peace. 3 months later, my sister called. Her voice was different, gentle, unsure. She said she'd started therapy, trying to understand why our family always revolved around money. She said she'd realized how unfairly they treated me, how cruel that New Year's night had been. She wasn't calling to bargain, she was calling to apologize. That was the first real apology I'd heard from any of them in my life. Since then, things have changed. My brother still keeps his distance, but he makes his payments every month. My parents have learned to call without asking for anything. My sister and I talk every week about life work, simple things, and recently, I reached out to Sarah. I told her everything. The lawsuit, the payment plan, the boundaries she saw, the change in me. We met for coffee, not as old lovers, but as two people who finally understood themselves. We're taking things slow, but for once, I'm building something real. Not something funded by guilt or obligation. The debts will take years to be repaid, but that doesn't matter because the real debt, the one I owed myself, has already been cleared. That night when I placed that envelope on the table, I wasn't demanding money. I was demanding respect, and I finally got it.